I am so annoyed right now.
Calm down. Calm
I'm
down.
so annoyed right now.
Calm down.
All right. What is everybody? Welcome to the Losers Lounge. Presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Choose your offer. Find out why. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. At Bet365, we're also in the Toyota Losers Lounge. I feel like I just got run over by the entire fleet of Toyota trucks. It's in their DNA. Every truck just ran over me with that. I'm so annoyed right now. I'm going to be honest, man. I'm going to be annoyed in this Losers Lounge. Driven by your front range Toyota stores. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. Brendan votes with me in this Losers Lounge.
Oh, what a golden opportunity, fellas. If you take a look around the association, it was a night to catch up some ground, gain some ground. Really annoying loss. Really annoying loss. But at least we suffer together, I suppose.
We do suffer together. That is the one good thing. Over here, Superstar Dev.
What in the fuck was that, man? What was that?
The Spurs aren't good, man. They're not. It's like they're not terrible, but they're not a good team. Yeah. They got Wemby, who's pretty awesome, man. I'm really annoyed. There was a lot of stuff to talk about in this one. Let's make sure we're not too negative today. Let's try to It's going to be a real tough task because this was a really annoying one.
We're definitely going to be disproportionately annoyed. You know.
The nice thing is they play tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know,
sort of a nice thing for now.
Kind of because I want to forget this game. Give me a reason to forget it tomorrow. Let's go to the fast breakdown, though. Let's recap this game very quickly. My first note, I can't believe I'm saying this. Jokic played a little scared of Wemby to open this game. Didn't last the entire game. Do you guys remember the first quarter?
Wary of his length.
Very weird, looking around, throwing up quick layups, just kind of squared. And then he got 2 quick fouls. It kind of set the tone for God, tonight's going to be a struggle, isn't it? It really did. Murray, MPJ, and the Booth boys, though. Jokic has to go to the bench. Murray, MPJ, and the Booth boys. We don't see it very often. It went on a run. It was kind of nice. There was a little bit of life from that lineup. P-Watt, the center in that lineup, was guarding Wembanyama. Doing a decent job for, giving up a foot of height. But it was 32-30 Spurs after one. Second quarter, Wemby was heating up from 3. He went on his own little run. There was 2 stints where Jokic was on the bench, and both of them Wemby went off. This one was the first one. Spurs opened up a 10-point lead. They would hold on to that for quite a while. But Wemby picked up his 3rd foul right before the half. So it's 60-52 Spurs, but Wemby now has foul trouble. That would texture the rest of the game. Third quarter, Nuggets make an immediate third quarter run. There was a 5-minute stretch, though, where nobody scored. Do you guys remember this in the third quarter where it was just like the ugliest basketball? Nuggets could not get a bucket. Jokic had 16 in the quarter, though. 90-87 Nuggets going into the final frame. Wemby went off again. I said there was 2 stints to start the second, to start the fourth. Those 2 stints were the game. When Jokic was not on the floor, Wemby came in and just murdered, and Denver couldn't score. They couldn't score any points. I think they had 2 in 5 minutes. Wemby did have 5 fouls, though, with 5.5 minutes remaining. It was tied with 3 minutes to go, and I'm going to give you every play from there on. Christian Brown hits a corner 3. Absolutely huge. Michael Porter gets a dunk on Wemby. You're up 5. Spurs get a corner 3. Jamal smoked a layup. Jokic had scored 30 points straight, and Jamal called his own number on a play, gets to the rim, and just misses the layup. It was a layup, and he missed it. As a result, the Spurs get an and 1 and take the lead. Jokic had a little post hook. Spurs had a slip play. And then Jokic, at the very end of the game, took a 3-pointer. He took 36 shots tonight. His last one was a 3. He had been scoring every time inside. I think a little fatigue. Takes the 3 and misses it. Why do you take that one? And the Spurs had a turnover with 17 seconds left, which gave the Nuggets life again. They could have put the game away. Nuggets get a chance. But instead, Jokic gets a turnover on a post-up, spinning, fadeaway, try to throw it cross court. Just a really ill-advised possession, really ill-advised everything. Spurs get a run out to go up 3. There's 1.5 seconds on the clock. They don't call a timeout for some reason. They inbound the ball and the clock expires. That's how that game went. I can't believe the Nuggets lost this one. I thought they were winning it for sure, all the way up until Jokic's turnover at the end. That was the first moment I thought they were going to lose the game.
If it's tied or the Nuggets have a lead under 4 minutes, you should feel that way. And, you're right. I almost said the same thing, right? That those stretches without Jokic were the game, except that happens sometimes. And what you usually do is then you at least win in the clutch. And it was a little weird to see a couple of guys who typically close really, really well not get it done. And that I think is the feeling of, wait, what just happened? Is because it followed the script of all those comeback wins, except for the part that we were all banking on.
Jokic missed 3. Murray's missed layup. Jokic's turnover at the end. It's just like, man, if you have one of those you score on, you probably win the game. But
don't forget the foul.
The foul?
The and one foul.
The and one, yeah, that was bad too.
Don't forget that one.
Yeah. All right, let's get to our Red Hawk Roofing big takeaways. That's what happened. Let's talk about it, though. What's your big takeaway, Deb?
My Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway is Jokic had 41 points, 18 rebounds, 9 assists. Michael Porter Jr. knocked down 4 of his three-pointers. Russell Westbrook had some energy, had 8 assists, 9 points in the game. Julian Strawther off the bench has 11 points, and it's not horrible with the bench unit. Everybody else did their job.
Who did you mention there?
What did Jamal do? What did Jamal do? Like, do your job. Show up. You're already playing without Aaron Gordon in the game. That calls for the next man up. That calls for you to go to your second best player, or the player that you're supposed to go to. And time again, Jamal has not been the Nuggets' second best player. It's like very safe to say this year it has not been him. And this is a game that would have been great for 2-7 to just show up a little bit. So I think this one is on Jamal.
Yeah. Jamal agrees with you. After the game, he said it's on me as well, and he's right. But a lot of these games this year are on Jamal. You're right, man. He was rough. That missed layup in the clutch was just. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. What's your Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway?
I was gonna go with what Dev went, so now I'm rapidly kind of working for. Yeah, I mean, it did feel like even in that fourth quarter bench stint, Jamal and Mike had some shots that they could hit, and they just missed them anyway. So
they didn't bring him back, by the way. Jamal did not come back till 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Malone almost wrote it without him.
Thought about it, and then he was like, it's Julian Strawther. Julian missed that 3, and was down to 3. That I kind of got it. It's hard to trust Julian there too, but ultimately, I do think this was a night where if Jamal had a little more energy, the Nuggets probably win this game. And then look, man, the Wemby-Jokic matchup is awesome, right? We talked about this in the pregame show. Like, Jokic just puts up huge numbers, but even in those games, you can still see it, man. You can still see the way that he is calculating, where's Wemby? Can he block this shot? Do I need to go higher off the glass, rush it this time? It's really something, and I mean, Wemby was really remarkable tonight. Remarkable.
Wemby was great tonight. The Jokic-Wemby matchup goes to Wemby tonight, even though both guys were great. Wemby had the larger impact and was a plus 17 in a game that, was 3 points. So I think you have to give it to him. But to me, I'm with you guys. 2 games ago, I think it was his second straight good game, which was rare. I don't know if he'd had 2 good games in a row this year. Jamal Murray went to the podium and talked a bunch of shit to the media. Why? I don't know, but just none of you guys ever played basketball before, but you don't know like I know, blah, blah. And it was like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? He's followed it up with 2 really bad games, progressively worse games. And tonight was Michael Malone almost didn't put him back in. To tell you where he's at right now, Michael Malone, who brought him in and played him 8 straight minutes in the fourth quarter, up 20 for some reason, which was very weird last game, tonight almost tried to close without him. And yeah, he was really rough tonight. That missed layup to me just doesn't make sense. How do you miss that one? How do you not get to the rim and finish it? But my real Red Hawk Roofing big takeaway is this. Westbrook has secretly come in and just taken over. I'm not saying number 2 best player, but certainly number 2 most dominant, like, fulcrum. It's like they're playing his style of basketball or that. And it's been great. When it's been good, it's been awesome. We've been riding that wave. Jokic Westbrook 2-man game is awesome. But tonight in the fourth quarter, you kind of saw where there's a limit to that. And the team's identity still needs to be, if they're going to win an NBA championship, the identity still needs to be peanut butter and jelly. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray 2-man game. And tonight, you can just tell there's a weird, because Murray just hasn't been consistently even good, not great, he hasn't been consistently good this year, and Westbrook has, that there's a weird personality disorder on the Nuggets right now about what they are. And when the going got tough, Denver just missed some shots, missed some plays. But down the stretch, it's like, is this the Murray-Jokic 2-man game, or is it just give it to Jokic and get out the way? Is it the Westbrook-Jokic 2-man game? It's almost like you don't know because Murray has been so mid so consistently this year.
Yeah, I think that goes to Jamal just kind of relinquishing that power to Westbrook. And I think that, Westbrook's an alpha, type of player personality. His character is that, but the Nuggets have kind of adapted to his brand of basketball in every single way. They push the pace, the way that they play, the adjustments that they make. He's the guy that they go to on the bench now that forces other people out of position. There is not the bread and butter that they go to at the end of games, which was the most unstoppable play in basketball. And we even seen flashes of that throughout this season, but now putting him there, he is put it that Malone has no choice but to close with them. He just chooses to play with them. And I've been a Westbrook guy, this entire time, but I've also been very loud in beating the drum of you can play him in pockets. I don't think you could extend him for too long because that's when the mistakes happen. And this was another game that, I just feel like the team is adjusting to the way he plays. And I know you weren't going with that, there, but that's just that's something that's been on my mind for sure.
We have seen sometimes, though, where Russ is on ball a lot and then Murray was on ball to close the game. To me,
there is a world where that works. Perfect.
Yeah, to me, it was more about execution tonight. I'm just thinking about the missed layup, really, which I don't even necessarily mind him calling his number there, but hit the shot, So I felt like it was
I don't mind it either.
Yeah, just more execution to me. But there is a little bit.
But Jamal had 14 points tonight. It wasn't like
on 17 shots.
On 17 shots.
No, totally, man. But I actually thought there were a lot of makeable shots for Jamal tonight that he just missed. Which, by the way, I am holding against him. I thought it was just execution, really. And then the other thing too, which is obvious, is just if the Nuggets try a little bit harder in the first half, they're going to win every game. But they're just not doing it. And then you got to be perfect in the second, and they weren't perfect in crunch time. But I did think a lot of it, was Jamal tonight for sure.
I just think there's an interesting dynamic right now in that every team's pecking order should be pretty clear by this point in the season. Who are you? Who are you at different moments? Who's the top guy? Who plays off of this guy? Who happens? And I think there's a little bit right now of Westbrook and Jokic have a good thing going. It really benefits Jokic more than it benefits the team at whole. Westbrook gets the ball to Jokic really well, and he's scoring. He took 36 shots tonight. Jokic doesn't take 36 shots very often. I bet it's only been 3 or 4 times in his career he's taken 36 shots, probably mostly in the playoffs when he's playing more minutes. But he takes 36 and 37 minutes, almost a shot a minute being on the court.
Yeah.
You're on defense for half of that, so you're a shot every 30 seconds of offensive possession. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. But there's a weird, almost, like I said, psychosis to the Nuggets right now because the guy who is clearly supposed to be the number 2 guy just doesn't have it. And, I honestly wondered when we were doing the celebration 2 games ago about Murray and, him being a dick to the media means he's back. That's actually who he is. I wondered what his teammates thought when he's like, yeah, man, everybody starts slow. I wonder if Jokic was like, what? Leading the league in 3-point percentage, points, rebounds, and second assists. What do you mean everybody starts slow? No, you start slow, and I have to do double time. I'm working overtime because you're taking vacation in the first week of the season.
That is you're throwing all of us out there for you, and it's also in defense of you. And also what was he didn't even give a reason for it. Why would you go into the season out of shape and play your way into that? Have you ever thought
Everybody does it.
Have you thought about doing the opposite of and how good you can be? That's the Zion Williamson approach.
It really is.
What does that get you? And also what message does it send to teammates that the player that's getting paid, as much as he's getting paid and he's supposed to be, the leader of the team is making those type of comments and kind of excusing not being in tip-top shape.
No, it's your guys' fault for thinking everybody's out of shape. You're just mad at me, but
very wild.
It's your guys' fault for being mad at me.
That was a wild a wild comment.
And he's been terrible for 2 games now. He had 8 of his 21 points in the fourth quarter last game when they were up 22 plus points.
It's every time. It's every time right now. Like, truly. But that's why he's over there and I'm over here.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
He does have $208 million for the second time. So.
I also think there are times where you're like, man, how are you jogging right now?
Right.
Like, how are you jogging? Like,
a little frustrating game.
I think we've hit it. I think we've hit the
All
point.
right, we got to get more granular in segment 2. We're going to go into the details a little bit and talk about all the different players who played and a little bit deeper on that Wemby versus Jokic matchup on the other side.
Man, that game felt like getting run over by a truck.
Yeah, it did. The whole fleet of them.
The whole fleet of them. Toyota's got a lot of trucks. There's my segue. Trucks have been a part of Toyota's DNA, always. For generations, they built durable legends destined for greatness, perfect for Colorado. Whether you're conquering the off-road trails or looking to haul the way to the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you. And even if you're not a truck person, there is probably a Toyota that's right for you. All told, they have 17 models available with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive like the Epic 4Runner. They also offer more low and zero-emission vehicles combined than any other automaker. Visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you. There's AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota is a proud partner of the Denver Nuggets and the official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places. And of course, if you turn into the pregame show, we are live 30 minutes before tip-off every Nuggets game. The last segment is the most fun segment. It's the betting segment where we fire up Bet365, where it's never ordinary, unless you're talking about Dev handing out some winners. You can always bet with us. Of course, you don't have to. Please do gamble responsibly. But just know whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And when you sign up at Bet365, keep your eyes peeled for all types of custom boosts, including our custom DNVR boosts for just about every sport we cover here. Keep your eyes peeled. New customers get 150 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit 10, place a bet of 5 to get 150 in bonus bets. Whatever the moment, never ordinary. Must be 21 and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
All right, we're back here, segment 2. Throw us a like if you're enjoying the show. Michael Malone today, this happens like maybe 5 times a year. Michael Malone went to the podium for the post-game availability before the media was able to get there. And I wonder why. He didn't call a timeout late, closed with Westbrook on the plate, and bring Murray back early. Like, there's a lot of questionable decisions. I got to say, man, most of the time when Malone does this, he goes to the podium early, and you're almost annoyed. It's like almost forgivable. I get it. Tonight is one where I'm like, Malone had some tough questions that were like clearly going to be asked tonight, and him going there is almost like ducking the media.
Especially like knowing how Malone usually is in those situations. He usually tries to get in front of it and just address it off top, before you even say anything. This was like a duck. He does not come directly out and just go straight into it. And I know that there was not a lot of questions there. Probably because of the mood.
Should he have called a timeout with 1.5 seconds left? They're down 3. You're probably not getting anything, but you advance the ball. You can drop a play. Should he have done that?
I think so, just to get it away from Wemby on top of that.
Yeah.
Like, you have this type of defender out there. It's like, okay, this is not working. He's getting a one-on-one. I feel like when Jokic hesitated on the drive with the one-on-one with Wemby, I would have just called a timeout. Let's call something a little bit better and just go with the better option.
You're
because
right.
I don't want it to be that one-on-one. He's long, he's athletic, he can move. So I feel like that should have been there. But also he made decisions. Like, even if you say that they're the wrong decisions, you made a decision. Like, Jamal wasn't benched, but he wasn't out there at the end when it mattered. And he's, your second best player, like your second highest paid player. You went with the Westbrook. You had some decision. You chose to go with Julian Strother, a guy that's not known for his defense, not really a better scorer or anything like that. I just feel like he should have addressed why he said it or something like that. And that's a golden opportunity to try to get a message out to Jamal at that time too.
Yeah, or just very least you answer for the timeout decision or the non-timeout decision, which isn't not the first or the last coach to be on the wrong side of that choice, but
It's not even that crazy of a question.
I mean, I think he's probably really frustrated, and that's what that is. Let's get this shit over with is probably his feeling, but I understand where you're coming from. There's a little bit of like, it actually, this may sound ridiculous. It does take a little bit of time to get down there from the media seating, and that is the whole point of this availability. So I get where you're coming from, and there's something to it,
you're
man.
like forgiving him.
No. I'm saying I get where you're coming from completely. Like, it actually does take a minute if you're the media.
Let me give you a thing real quick. If you recall, Michael Malone missed a game. It was the same game Jokic missed. It was the game that he could have passed Doug Moe at New Orleans. That was the game he missed for his daughter's championship game, which in my opinion was and still is 100% defensible. I have daughters. If they were in the state championship game, I would want to go watch that game. But somebody told me, isn't it funny that was the beginning of the slide? That was when they were playing really good, but he missed that game, Jokic missed that game, and the team seemed to lack focus for the next month. And people called me not just from around, like writers, like, why is Malone missing a game? I was like, oh, he has a daughter's thing. They're like, that's weird. And I was like, I don't think it is. It's a daughter thing.
I did think it was weird at the time.
But here's my point, man. There's something to, like, all of Jokic, Malone, Calvin Booth, the Cronkies, Jamal Murray, everything they do, the rest of the team is kind of watching. And so part of me goes like, oh, you didn't go to the podium tonight?
Just to be clear, I agree with you. When I'm saying it takes media time, I'm saying that's why you can't just rush, because you can get there and then get in and out. So like, I agree with you, man. I think
he should have gone there tonight and been, if nothing else, a shield, or just like, hey, let me answer for my sins.
Yes, I completely agree with that. I understand his frustration, but it's part of the job.
Right. Am I reading too much into it? I just think it's kind of I'm telling you, man, there's something about this team where I'm like, nobody wants to face the music.
Yeah, I think that, he made his decision for his family, but also, like, it does send a message, and I think that you should get ahead and talk about that message, but it does send a message that, like, it's okay, like, to do these type of things.
Right.
And a big part of this team, for the last, let's say 4 years, like, the biggest message used to be about culture and, like, what you're putting out, and that hasn't, they have had the same team, but also, like, you hear that again, like, about the top teams still. Yeah. The word culture always comes into it, and now it just seems a little bit different, especially when you start losing games, it starts getting louder, and then you start noticing, things that are there or not there. But that is something that I'll be like, hey, I don't have to talk to media. I could call out media in these, negative ways. I could, show up early so I could get out early. There's just different ways. And if I was a young guy, I would also, like, look at that like, hey, if they don't have to do that, why do I?
Right. Yeah, something stood out. How do you analyze Yoke's game against Wemby tonight? Because that matchup, it's a big deal. And Wemby was 14 of 21 tonight for 35, 18, and 4.
Yeah, I just learned that Wemby is a chess player. I really do think that was like a chess type of game, and Jokic played on the other side with him. It was really a match. But also, I think that Jokic overthought that, and you don't typically see that. You don't see him have to adjust. Everyone adjusts to him. I knew going into this game he was going to shoot a bunch of three-pointers. I did not know that he would just, like, avoid the paint altogether, especially with some of those shots that he made. You would think that he would get a little bit more comfortable, like, hey, I could score on him. I could score on anybody. I'm the best offensive player in the world. But I do think that was something that was in his head. And also, him taking that many shots, maybe that was his way
36?
His way of saying, like, I'm going to be aggressive. I can go at him. But again, like, no, that is a wild amount of shots taken in one specific game, like 36. Like, that doesn't happen often, especially from Jokic.
I'm gonna look it up.
But I love him on the boards. I love him going through. There was a stretch where it was just the Wemby versus Jokic show, and that was fun. That was really entertaining. And you get to see him with the best of them. If that's the best defensive player in the world, you go against the best offensive player in the world. That was a real matchup. Like, I loved it. I really did.
By the way, it's the second most shots he's ever taken, playoffs or regular season. The most a month ago against Washington. That 56 piece, he took 39 shots.
And that's it, sort of what people are. But I do think there's a little. So people will see that go, see, you turn Jokic into a scorer and you win. And I actually just think that's the order backwards. Like, what happens is the Nuggets aren't playing good, healthy basketball. And so Jokic reverts to just trying to score to give them a chance. So really what you're getting at is, yeah, when the Nuggets don't play really well, we have a better chance of winning. Like, yeah, no kidding, So, like, that's Jokic. Jokic does not want to have to shoot 36 times. That's just, he will if he has to. He doesn't want to have to. So that's where the turn Jokic into a scorer thing comes from, because it really just means the Nuggets weren't playing well, so Jokic turned himself into a scorer. I mostly liked his game tonight. A few shots in the fourth that he usually hits that he missed. The three I didn't love. Obviously, the turnover doesn't look great, but ultimately Jokic did everything he could in the third to make this a game, and I think you start with other people before him in terms of the blame totem pole for sure.
There's no question. And I would actually say 36 shots just is more about where this team is right now and,
That's exactly,
and kind of stylistically.
how this game went, really.
I will say Wemby does seem to present a puzzle he hasn't solved yet. You know, usually when there's a young player, like we saw with DeAndre Ayton, perfect triple-double, there's like this little pressure you put on. I almost feel like Jokic trying to figure out Wemby, which is one of the very few players I feel that about.
Totally. I think he has from the jump, which is really cool, actually. Even when he plays really well and beats him, you can see it on the floor. Jokic is very. What do we always say about Jokic? You can't speed Jokic up.
Yeah.
Wemby actually speeds Jokic up.
Yeah, I think that's a great take,
because he can contest this, he can block this, and so that's actually it's the only matchup where I see Jokic get sped up. Frankly,
I'm so curious to see tomorrow's night's matchup now because 2 in a row. You know, we always say Jokic figures guys out eventually. 2 in a row is kind of nice. You know, it's like right away, go right back into it and let's see what you get out of it.
Well, the flip side too, man, is it's like you're probably splitting any 2-game series. So this was the one you wanted to win, especially with the teams that lost. If you go out and you get that win, all right. But unfortunately, you put 41 minutes in from Mike, 42 minutes in from Christian, played hard and came up short in the home one. So you're putting yourself behind the 8 ball.
Well, I think we had 2 straight really good Westbrook games, and we were kind of feeling ourselves like we were over the hump. This one was more of a mixed bag. He had some great stuff, but he also had some bizarre stuff, I thought.
Yeah, but you're not. I think that it'll be wild for you to think that you're going to get 3 straight, 4 straight Westbrook. Like, that's just like him coming back to the means. Like, you have to remember, like, what type of contract he is, like, how the availability of when he came into it. And you're going to take this. He's a starter that he's still playing hard. He's getting into it with Wemby and trying to, like, rally the troops. He's, you know, finding Jokic and making sure he's taking those shots, especially if no one else is. I do think that the foul late in the game, like, I do think there's always going to be one of those bonehead plays from him. But you can't fault him. He's playing hard the entire time. I wanted him to step up a bit more defensively in this type of game because I thought that if you have a player like him that is like on those guards, especially the young guards, or even if him and Westbrook, Chris Paul got into it a bit more, like that would have been chippy. You get the home crowd into it. But I mean, I think you take that Westbrook game. It just happens.
You take it, huh?
I agree. I also don't think you have a choice. Like that's
that's that part. True.
You say like get over the hump, but I don't know if there is getting over with. Like you appreciate the great games as they come, but this is stay buckled and keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times. Right? You never know when there's going to be a sharp turn or the wheels get loose. Tonight, I actually didn't think he was awful, but. Maybe the turnovers, he led the team with 3. There were a few moments where it felt like he's a bit out of control, but you know, I still like the way Russ is playing for the most part.
Somebody just made a comment, and I truly do agree. This stands out. He always goes for like the home run steal. Yeah. And it puts the defense at such a disadvantage every single time. It is. And he rarely gets the actual steal. Like, but I just feel like that's part of the Westbrook experience. But I do think that like that. I mean, I haven't looked into the numbers, but I'm sure that like the defense with him there is pretty crazy. Like not that well. I know that they're winning games, so you're not thinking about it the same ways. But like he does like cause liabilities on defense for him to be like a good defender.
Yeah. I thought his game was a little bit rough today, but you are right. It's, again, not the guy I would go to blame. And he was good in the second half. Like, in the second half when Denver made their run, he was a big part of that. All right, let's take our other break. On the other side, I want to do a little how worried are you about a handful of things with the Denver Nuggets following this game.
Have you ever wanted to go see your favorite artist, favorite basketball player, favorite hockey player, your favorite comedian, and you realized, oh crap, the show's tonight. I did not get those tickets. Maybe you were waiting to see the prices dropped. You didn't really see the drop, and man, it's game time, man. It's time to go. Fire up the Game Time app, which is going to make it really easier for you. They have the Game Time Picks filter. which basically just filters out the fluff. You can sort of take the anxiety out of the shop comparison you might feel like you're constantly doing when you're looking at some of the inferior competitors, just to make sure you have the best deal. Just use Game Time picks and know that you do. I love Game Time. It has helped me see some of my favorite artists, some of my favorite shows in Denver. And one of my favorite things about living in Denver is just how many shows there are and great sporting events to go to. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And of course, I would like to talk to you good people about Verizon, which I still believe is our latest partner, our newest partner at Verizon. And right now, they know that you're tired of that phone bill draining your bank account. They know that you wish you could use that money for something more fun and exciting. And so for a limited time, new customers can get up to $800 in a prepaid MasterCard to pay off your current smartphone loan when you switch. If I had $800, I would retire. That's enough, right? I don't know. It's more than I have. Just trade in any phone from their top brands with select unlimited plans. Verizon gives you the 5G network to power your entire day, and they've got you covered with their award-winning network. Switch to Verizon today and take control of your game plan.
There you go. All right, back here, segment 3. I want to ask you guys how worried you are about a few things here. How worried are you, Vote, about Christian Braun's three-point shot?
Pretty worried.
It's been a little rough the last month or so.
I would almost say maybe past worried and more on resigned.
Oh, you're beyond worried. That's sad.
It was an awesome start to the year from him in that regard, and that was the most kind of outlier thing that was happening, I thought. And, you know, hitting a few wide open ones is, those will come and they go, but I think really the thing to key in on is, as this offense has shown itself to be potent, and even if tonight felt a little slow, if I'm in a playoff series against Denver, I'm just thinking, yeah, you let that guy shoot. You let that guy shoot. So there's something there for sure. I mean, he's not a knockdown shooter, and I think it's catching up to him.
I'm worried because, I mean, he's worried about it. He doesn't even take them. Like, he's so hesitant to shoot the ball that if he's worried about it, of course we have to. And it affects the spacing of the team. Like, other teams are playing towards that. They know that they can easily run him off because if he's not comfortable or like wide open, he doesn't even shoot the ball. He knocked down 2 of them in this game. But they're leaving him wide open. There's not many contested shots from Christian. I feel like in the last, like, before this game, 4 straight games, he only took 1 3 or something like that. From a shooting guard that's supposed to be out there to space the floor, like, you can only slash so many times with Jokic in the paint that Jokic is now, like, sitting on the paint to try to open up the floor. So it's forcing him to take more threes. So you need that type of shot. I do, or just like to believe in yourself. I do think that, like, you just make a few, you take a few more, like, that could open things up. At least teams have to respect it a bit more. So I just hope that even if you're going to miss him, take him. Just take him.
Yeah, and he did get 6 up tonight, and he did hit the big one, which to your point was a nice moment to take and make it. I'm not really trying to rag on him so much as I'm more prepared for this to be what it looks like than the first 2 months.
You're saying that, but since December 1st, he's shooting 17% from 3. That's below even what you would have guessed.
That's a good point. That's a pretty intense regression.
Like, you were expecting 33%, which is what he's falling back to in aggregate. But
right. But to Dev's point, there are going to be multiple moments throughout a game in a season where it's important for Christian to just square up and take it, because those moments will come in a playoff series as well.
How concerned are you, I'll go to you first, Dev, that DeAndre Jordan really is the backup center, and on nights like tonight when that's not an option, Malone's move is to go to 7 guys instead of 8. Because that's what happened tonight. Malone tried DeAndre Jordan for 4 minutes. They could not score because Wembanyama's on the court, and he's like, I'm not afraid of the lob.
Yeah.
All right, so that's broken up. And then he went with Hunter Tyson, also a disaster, -11. It was like they couldn't get away from that, and they weren't going to try one of their other guys. How concerned should we be?
Very concerned. The idea that the Nuggets do not have a backup center should have always scared you. And especially now, seeing that Aaron Gordon is like dealing with injuries because he has been the backup option. DeAndre Jordan played 4 minutes tonight, and it was rough for those 4 minutes. He really never stood a chance, and most nights against other backup centers, that's going to be the case. It's forcing Jokic to play more. It's forcing another guy to play out of position, and that just seems to be the name of the game when it comes to the Nuggets organization. Everybody's playing out of position, and it leaves you getting scored on every time, not coming up with stops, not having any type of rim protection that every single team in the league knows that they could go into the paint and score with ease. And that's just like having a Jokic, having a no backup center that can alter things, and then just being undersized at all times. So, like, that worries me, like, a lot.
Do you have a take on that?
I don't. I mean, yes. But more just, more of the same, man. More of the same. Like,
How did you like when Wemby was out there against DeAndre Jordan for that?
It was 4 minutes, and they did not score.
Just to be clear,
They didn't score?
They scored 2 points. No, Denver did not score.
Oh, yeah, I was
the
like,
problem
what?
was more offensive than
No,
defensive,
look,
although they were getting scored on too.
of course it's a problem. Of course. But it's been a problem for 6 years. I mean, I just don't know what else to.
Yeah.
They could have thrown Najee or Sharch out there and gotten absolutely destroyed. That is Dev's point, by the way, that this is a suboptimal option. I'll be shocked if they have a good option by the end of the year.
To put a bow on this one, this was a pretty discouraging Nuggets game, I thought. They do get to play them tomorrow, which is kind of, in a weird way, nice. It's like a little series.
Dude, look, you're probably splitting this one way or another. So if you want to put your rose-colored glasses on, just go win the one tomorrow, and it's okay. But you put yourself behind the 8 ball for sure, and that was an annoying one to lose at home, which seems to be happening a little too often.
How many shots does Jokic take tomorrow?
I'm going to say 24.
Like a normal amount.
A lot.
A
normal lot.
A normal lot.
Yeah, I'll say about the same. Like 24 shots, 26 shots. Second night of a back-to-back, same exact team. Yeah, 26.
How many points does Jamal Murray score tomorrow?
It's so crazy. He scores 18. No, he scores 22.
22 points?
He scores 22.
That's a Nuggets win right there.
Yeah, that is a Nuggets win.
We doing Jamal?
Yeah, points.
Points? I don't know, 18.
Really?
But if it's an efficient 18 and he has 10 assists,
then so be it.
Yeah, but
it's not the worst thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even mind the low total tonight because he was playmaking so much as the 17 shot. Like, he's shooting 35% on 17 shots is terrible. But
Denver had a golden opportunity tonight, man. We'll do a little ATA on the other side. But they had a
That's
golden
why I'm so annoyed.
opportunity. I'll ask you this, though, as we close out segment 3. What do you guys think of San Antonio? Because they're the 8 seed right now. I thought they could be a playoff team this year just because Wemby was that good. But are you kind of buying them as a team that might actually be a playoff contender?
No, I'm not buying them, but also I think that the hype around Wemby is real. They're not good, so you have to find something that makes them entertaining, and he's entertaining. I feel like it doesn't make sense for them to make the playoffs. They need 1 or 2 more pieces, and then they're gonna be good around them. So why not just lose for the rest of this one? But
I think about this with Jokic a lot. Because he was a second rounder, because he kind of snuck up on everybody, the Nuggets spent 5 years before they actually tried winning. It's slow, we have a young core, we're going to go don't skip steps. And I think that was the right move. But it's also Wembanyama is really good, and it's not crazy to think you could build a contender around him.
Well, that's why I liked the Chris Paul move, too, because not that they are a contender now because they did that, but it was just a little more of a screw the timeline. This guy's good. Let's get someone who gets him the basketball, and let's start from there. And so, I mean, I don't think they're that bad, man. I think they're comfortably better than the actual bad teams. I mean, I think they'll make the play-in. I could see them doing that. And I mean, look, it's an annoying loss, and I am not trying to defend. It was a bad loss, but there's something to this matchup. The Nuggets like to score a lot in the paint and in transition. Are we surprised Christian Brown struggled from the field tonight? That guy scores everything in the paint, and guess who was there?
Yeah,
Wemby.
good point. Good take.
So if they were not going to shoot really well from 3, that's a bit of a struggle, right? So, look, the Spurs are not juggernauts, but I don't think they're bad, and I think that they for a team that is way inferior talent-wise, they can match up well with Denver.
If they win, by the way, tomorrow, they'll be a half game behind Denver.
That's how the West works, man. That's how the West
Isn't
works.
that wild?
It's crazy. So yeah, don't count this team out at all for sure.
Yeah. How about this one? Like, again, hindsight's 2020. I never thought this in real time, but Yoke really was so good, and it just snuck up on everybody that we didn't realize it. When do you think he was ready to be on, not the guy of, but on a title contending team? What year?
Wemby?
No, Jokic.
Oh, I'm sorry. What year?
Like year 5.
I think year 5 was the bubble.
Yeah, like
I think
year 5.
I think year 4
Yeah.
was the first playoff run. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if he was on a team with one or two other superstars at that time, it's like, Yoke's ready to be at that level. Maybe not the guy, but he might be. And I just feel the same way about Wemby, where I'm like, they don't need to slow play this, man. He's ready. Just put him.
No,
give him
he's
some players.
I mean, he's all the defensive impact already is out of this world, man. Out of this world. And that's, look, man, it's the biggest factor in Denver losing this game. We talk on the Denver side of things and what guys need to do better to win these matchups that they should win. That's our job. But part of it, too, is what the Spurs and particularly Wemby did well and present. And that is some really great paint defense, some really remarkable defense.
Just so weird what the Spurs are doing. Like, Popovich is out, but still part of the team. They have this roster that are you guys impressed with the rest of the roster?
No.
Me neither. I was like actually pretty unimpressed with the rest of the roster.
Keldon Johnson, I feel like, has always hit some shots against Denver, but I'm not writing home about Keldon Johnson
At all.
Yeah, it's just Vassell. That's it.
Vassell.
It was just them two, really.
Yeah. So it's a little bit weird. All right, let's take our final break on the other side. Let's do a little ATA, flush this one out, do a little around the association, and get to your Super Chats.
We're back, by the way.
We're back. There is no break 3. Dev, it was a crazy night in the association. The Nuggets had such a chance to climb in the standings tonight, squandered. Why don't you take us around?
All right, I'm going to go with all the teams that are in the West, just for the excitement purposes. The New York Knicks went up against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And listen, the big bodega had himself a game. 17 points, 22 rebounds. OG Anunoby had 20 points. Jalen Brunson had 22, and Mikal Bridges had 24. They were up big in this game, and you expect them to win that type of game, right?
I would think.
No. Guess how many wins in a row the Thunder have?
Well, I know what you're going to tell me. You're going to tell me 14.
14 in a row.
But it's not true.
What is not true?
They lost to the Bucks like 7 games ago in a game that technically doesn't count.
It doesn't
including
count.
on win streaks. Do you
doesn't
know?
count.
This is such a good hater note.
It doesn't count.
Wait, hold on. It goes further. It is the longest win streak in Oklahoma City Thunder history.
Because it counts.
Because it counts as a win streak, and it's
14 of them in a row.
Can you imagine if that was, the franchise win streak came with a loss in the middle of it?
They don't have those asterisks next to things. It just is not there.
That's crazy, man.
SGA had 33 points in this game. Jalen Williams had 20. Hardenstein had 14 rebounds.
Go for the whole line. Go for the whole line. I love it.
Of Hardenstein?
Yeah.
4 points, 7 assists, 14 rebounds.
It's like a near triple-double, but it was actually a single-double.
They are good, man. Like, it makes me mad that they're good, like, and how good they are.
They're ridiculously good, man. They beat everybody.
Next up, we have the Boston Celtics beat up on the Houston Rockets.
Damn, look at that score.
Boston's like playing well, and this game they didn't have their two guys. Like, they didn't have Porzingis, they didn't have Jalen Brown.
No, they had Porzingis. They didn't have Brown.
Oh yeah,
They didn't
Brown.
have
Brown didn't play in this one. They brought Porzingis back. Jason Tatum only had 20 points. Like, you would expect for them to have a monster game, but he didn't have to score. Derek White, our guy, 23 points. Peyton Pritchard had 20 points. Drew Holiday had 14 and got them off to a good start. Derek White was a plus 27 in this game, by the way. It was a real blowout.
I'm so effing tired of this local Colorado hero.
Jalen Green had 27 points on the other side, but that was it.
You're starting to hate Derek White.
That's not his fault. But yeah, everyone's like, we love Derek White. I'm like, do we? He's ruining my life.
At the moment, we love him.
The Cleveland Cavaliers also on a win streak. They're also playing the best basketball of their lives. They're up 134 to 1. Or they won 134-122 over the Dallas Mavericks.
They really
Mavericks
beat everybody, man.
They didn't have anybody in this game, but it was Evan Mobley in this game. 34 points, 10 rebounds. Nobody else had to do anything because he had such a monster game. They had like 8 people scoring double digits.
Damn.
Plus 32 from him. Darius Garland a plus 24. On the other side, Quentin Grimes, our guy, Quentin Grimes, 26 points to lead Dallas.
I hear he's on the trade market.
This was a showcase game for him.
Yeah, I
and
hear he's on the trade market.
He showed up.
Are you guys worried about them getting Cam Johnson? Dallas?
No.
He would help them, I think.
No, I'm not really
All
worried.
right.
It would be good, though. That would be a fun big three. But they have to get rid of Clay.
No. I don't think so. I think it would be Grimes. They have a lot of contracts, man. That match
Clay
up.
doesn't really make anything, also. So yeah, they will be able
Yes,
to
Cam
do whatever.
Johnson. I would not like it if they got Cam Johnson. I would not like it.
Me neither. I don't want OKC to get him either. If OKC adds a player on a 14-game win streak, be like, come on, guys.
Well, if it helps, they sure can.
They sure can.
Got everything they need.
They could actually add a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean the other two games are still going. The Kings are up 123-116 over Memphis Grizzlies with only 5 minutes left. The Lakers are up 87-81 over the Atlanta Hawks in the Trae Young showcase game. That's pretty much it. This was a golden opportunity for Denver to cut some ground, though.
It was, man.
With a win. And you expect that win on top of that.
All we can do now is hold our breath and hope that the Grizzlies lose to the Kings, so that Denver doesn't fall.
And then
in
the
standings.
night held, you held ground. Although
Then
the
you just-
Lakers.
yeah, then you just hold ground more or less into it. It's a bummer, man. I'm annoyed with the Nuggets. I'm annoyed with that performance. But they get a chance. We don't have to sleep on it for long. It's a Friday night. Saturday we'll be back and we get to watch the rematch of this game in San Antonio, which is absolutely insane. All right, we got any super chats? 20 of them?
Peter Duck. First, I want to say I love watching Wemby. You get to see who knows their glass game. Second, what a crummy game. It will be sweet to get revenge.
I love watching Wemby. What a crummy game.
Also, I hated it.
But I feel that.
Cedric Exquisite. Adam equals Hulk right now. Eric vibes. Let's bounce back tomorrow. Easy E. Band watch. Open game. Close game. Feels happy. Feels sad. Why? You know, Murray is absolutely pathetic. The Spurs have 0 perimeter defenders. Passive all night. Made Jokic go one-on-one versus Wemby all night. Pathetic.
I'm telling, hey, you know is on my side of all of that. I know everybody in the chat thinks it's like too ridiculous. I'm telling you, man, like these aren't superstars he's going up against. He just can't get anything. Can't get anything.
Nico Perez. I think Russ's class and ceiling as an all-time great, and the gap of his ceiling compared to Murray is really starting to show. We just got to be honest.
Hey, people are on my side here, at least the ones paying money. I think Murray can get back, man. I just hate that he had 2 good games in a row and started talking shit to Ryan Blackburn. That's what I hate. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? First of all, that guy's defended you more than anybody on earth. He's like shielded you from gone all in. And your first 2 games, and you're like, that guy's never played basketball before. Dude, come on. And then lays 2 eggs. Come on.
Super dope hip hop. Wemby at 20 last 2 versus Nugs. 35, 15, and 5 with 4 stocks, 64 efficient field goal percentage.
I would say he enjoys this matchup with Yoke. I think he would. I think he likes it.
FIFA Porter should not be slashing in the clutch with Westbrook at the 3-point line. Just doesn't look like a good possession.
I think you skipped one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Joe Clem. Julian Champagne's corner 3 in the clutch was when I felt Nugs may lose. Got to get connected on defense ASAP.
ASAP.
The guy hit some big ones, man.
He was locked in
Champagne.
on that one. I know. I'm going to say Champagne every time, though. Maddox. Guys, I can't do this for another 50 games. This team is painful to watch for the first time in the Jokic era. They aren't close to being champ level. Super dope hip hop.
At the moment, they're not, but I think they can get there quicker than we think. But at the moment, they do feel very disconnected from that.
Super dope hip hop always has some numbers ready. For what it's worth, the Nuggets are 7-10 when Jokic shoots 30 or more field goal attempts. 0-3 with 35 plus.
Something to it, man. That's what I'm saying.
Dean Giorgis, rebounds. Can't remember the last close game I didn't groan as I watched them give second, third, and fourth tries to the opposition.
This is another good point, man. This is another thing about those staggered non-Yoke lineups, although it happens with Yoke out there too. These long rebounds, just Denver's not good about. And by the way, I will say this about Christian Brown. He is really good on the break. But sometimes it comes at the expense of him getting those long
He's
rebounds.
leaking out a lot.
He's leaking out.
Totally. Okay. And Joe Clem 15 back for more. Westbrook equates to Jamal's great chemistry with Jokic in no time. Jamal's max is contingent on his chemistry with Jokic, but Jokic makes everyone better. Jamal needs to be unique outside of clutchness. You know, I'm sick of every other night thinking we're back and then not even close.
We're so over.
All that said, AG is so missed versus players like Wemby.
Would have been nice as an option as backup center for sure. He's stronger than him. He can keep him far away. It would have been nice for sure tonight.
Maybe, yeah, less Murray and Christian on some of those possessions. Christoph Shizabek. Sorry, man. Okay, so it did not work. Back to super chatting.
Yeah.
Easy E. Bad Rocky losses. Elucidate other Rocky colors. That's all.
Bad Rocky. Okay.
Amin. CB can't be scared to space and shoot that three when Jokic got doubled. Teams are going to leave him open in the playoffs. Got to take and make it.
Sure.
Gotta take him.
Gotta take him, man.
Take him.
Christoph, San Antonio spoilers of vibes. Not again. Does Murray get MPJ treatment now and disappear in between surges? Shouldn't he attack CP in the clutch? Dev.
What's up? What's up, baby?
Liz-
They should go after people. I wish that Nuggets did a better job, or just more of, we're gonna go after your worst defender now, the same way that they try to do that to Denver.
Liz A, 5280. Murray, you are the problem. As soon as I saw his 2 points in 16 minutes, it was over. Porter, more respect. Jokic did everything possible. Was on an island by himself. 5-5-5-5-5-ish. I know I'm doing the Zeke minutes bit this season, but I'll be serious for a moment. How can Zeke and Shards not even get 1 second in a game like this? Also, this loss sucks now, but this is a game you can learn from and grow.
I actually agree with him on this one point of just it clearly wasn't going to be a DeAndre night, but those guys are so down under the doghouse that it's like we can't dig them out in time.
Literally, it would take too much time.
Literally take too much
Missed
time.
the start of the game. Lawrence, how the hell did Malone not call a timeout with 1.7 to go down 3? Shambolic finish to their game.
It was a very weird finish,
Yeah, it's
man.
fair.
I do think Malone should have done it. I think he was so mad. He wanted to get to the podium. So I got to get there before the media gets
Win or
down
loss,
there.
that's what's important. Big Honey, lack of rebounding in these losses are really annoying.
Really is. Denver does not have, outside of Russell Westbrook, they just don't have very good rebounding non-bigs. So if it's not going to be DeAndre or Jokic, then it's like, who else is chipping in on there? You got to get that from P-Watt, CB, Julian. You got to start getting, those guys are big.
We're also quickly learning that bad defensive rebounding is among the most frustrating and painful things to watch
It really
night in,
is.
night out.
A good stop or force a bad shot, but then they get another one.
Well,
You're
it's
like,
hard enough to come by the good stop, you know?
That's true.
Bad news, Nuggets can't win both games in a back-to-back. Good news, Nuggets can't lose both games in a back-to-back.
Hey, I like it. Knock on wood.
They
Christoph.
actually could, though.
Well, they
Well, yeah, it's,
could they?
I mean, it's a good point, Dev. Who's to say they can't? No living person can be more out of Malone's foxhole than Zeke. Sharich, hold my beer. We, at least me and Adam, need more Pickett.
We need more Pickett, baby. Get him out there.
Get him out there.
Get him out there.
Druid-
Have him guard Wemby.
Druid trading. Jamal is 40% from the mid-range. Giannis is 44%. They take the exact same attempts. We can still win the ring. MPJ more shots. Trade Jamal Murray next season.
And you're going to have to do it over the summer. I will say one thing. I put this on Twitter. It's concerning to me that Jamal Murray's favorite shot is that fall away. Because you could tell when he's like, I'm trying to get myself going, he takes the literal worst shot in basketball. And you're like, well, that's his shot. So we'll see.
Big Honey, I think the altitude broadcast said we're 6-0 this season at the end of back-to-backs.
It's true.
I think we'll get him back tomorrow.
I think we will too.
Everyone knock on wood, though. I love the positivity, but everyone thank you, Yaya. And last word of the night goes to Chunk Dickwell's Burner. This loss isn't the apocalypse. Enjoy the ride. And Wemby Jokic matchup. Last week, my friend was shocked when I told him I didn't know the word apocalypse. I said, relax. It's not the end of the world.
Thanks for putting that one last.
You know what, man?
Yeah.
Just got to give us a little dad joke right there at the end. All right, hit that outro music. Thanks for riding with us in a Losers Lounge, a Friday night Losers Lounge at home. But you know what? Sleep on it, wake up, and then we're back tomorrow. Saturday night at the DNVR bar. The only thing better than Friday night at the DNVR bar.
Saturday night at the DNVR.
We're going to be here. We hope you guys join us. Hit that like button on the way out. See you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.